love yourself. As I said last time, self-love is self-care. And that's the only way healing is going to happen is through self-love. Loving yourself means that you're caring for yourself. Even if you never choose to march, if you never choose to write a congressman, you got to love yourself in order to create the joy and the life that you want and to pass that joy on to other people.
Hello, welcome to Women Awakening. I'm your host, Cynthia James, and honored isn't quite the word. I feel like I'm blessed to be able to introduce you to extraordinary women who are change makers and are making a difference on the planet for other women. They're way showers. And so I really believe that our energy, our nurturing, our wisdom, and our care is so important in this moment. So I do this every week. We're on all the platforms, including video on YouTube. Look for A Woman Awakening with Cynthia James. Please subscribe, do a review. We love reviews. And also you can go to cynthiajames.net. That's my website. There's a newsletter. I have a private community, and you can see resources and gifts for you. Well, today is a repeat guest. I just had the honor of introducing and talking to Dr. Andrea Sullivan. And I invited her back because I felt like we didn't have enough time to talk about all the stuff that we needed to talk about. So let me just tell you a little bit about her if you weren't at the first one. She is a doctor of naturopathic medicine. She got her degree from Vassar University in Seattle, Washington in 1986. After graduating from the 4-year accredited program, Dr. Sullivan also took advanced courses in homeopathic medicine in the United States, India, and Europe. And she continues to study with homeopathic physicians from Mumbai, Bombay, India. And she's a diplomat with the Homeopathic Academy of Naturopathic Physicians. She's been practicing on the East Coast for all of these years. Let me tell you, she was the first African-American to receive a PhD from the University of Pennsylvania in sociology and criminology. She taught at Howard University, American University, and the University of Maryland. And she was appointed assistant director of the Administration of Justice for the National Urban League in New York City. And then she later worked as a special assistant for urban policy to Patricia Roberts Harris, the U.S. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development during the Carter administration. Her first book was called A Path to Healing, A Guide to Wellness for Mind, Body, Soul. And then her second book, I love this title, The Sacrifices of Superwoman, Natural Remedies to Restore Balance. And that came out in 2023. Dr. Sullivan, thank you so much for coming back to have this conversation with me.
Well, thank you for having me, Cynthia. I'm just full of joy and energy and excited and grateful to you for all the work that you do all the time. Indeed.
Thank you.
So thank you for having me again.
So, ladies, if you didn't hear part 1, please listen to it, because we talk about her history and how she got to where she is. But today, we want to talk about stress and inflammation. Because, listen, we're living on a planet in this moment where there's a lot happening, and a lot of us are feeling stressed. So first of all, Dr. Sullivan, tell us the impact that stress has on the body.
Okay. So stress, first of all, varies, varying degrees. What might stress one person might not stress somebody else. So we can start there, and we know that. But we're going to talk about the negative effects, and specifically we're going to talk about sexism and racism, because right now that's one of the focus in my book, and right now that's very, very big on the planet. I've always said, ever since my degree in sociology, racism is the biggest disease in America. I'm going to repeat that. Racism is the biggest disease in America, and its tentacles and all the ways in which it reaches us and disturbs us are incredible, most of which we don't even know. But we know it through the statistics. You know, many of us, I should say, African-American women are obese or overweight. Many of us have diabetes. Many of us over the age of 20 are hypertensive. Those statistics are outrageous. That's where the stress is showing up. Now, how does it do that? So again, I said, it just depends on what makes you stressful versus what makes somebody else stressful. But when you have this thing called stress and you're feeling that, what's happening is your adrenal glands are being deluged. This thing called fight or flight, most of you have heard that term, fight or flight, like the tiger is in the tree all the time. So your adrenal glands, which are two glands that sit on top of the kidneys, those glands produce two hormones. One is adrenaline, hence the name. The other is cortisol. Adrenaline really regulates blood pressure. Cortisol regulates blood sugar. So when adrenaline is high, not able to be released through meditation or exercise, we don't just say exercise just for no reason. I'm saying exercise because it reduces stress. When you don't reduce the adrenaline, then it increases. And high levels of adrenaline create inflammation, create problems. You can get away with low levels of adrenaline and low levels of stress, like daily kinds of things, maybe at work, something's not going your way, things like that. But to be constantly deluged with adrenaline increases your blood pressure because it constricts your blood vessels. So that means the same amount of blood has to pump through smaller systems. So imagine if you were to clench a hose or something, or you had mud in the hose. The same amount of water can't get through the hose because the hose is blocked. The hose is constricted. That means that pressure builds up in the hose, hence pressure building up in your arteries. So that's adrenaline. But then there's cortisol. Cortisol increases also, and cortisol provides the energy to your larger muscles in order to do that flight. Okay. So, you can't smack your boss. You can't run out of the office screaming like a banshee. So you have to sit there and deal with it perhaps. But your larger muscles need energy, which they get in glucose, to perform certain acts, like run, like walk, whatever it is. But when that cortisol gets built up, again, it reduces blood sugar utilization. That's a big term for the blood sugar can't get into the cells effectively, and so it stays in the blood. And that's when we have what? Diabetes, because our insulin sensitivity is reduced and our blood sugar utilization is reduced. So we have hypertension from the adrenal glands, and cortisol produces the diabetes. If you're under stressful situations, both of those hormones are increasing and they are chronic. And that is what creates the problems. So,
oh my goodness. Okay. I just have to stop you for a second because I have to talk about this. So about 9 years ago, my husband said, you should go see someone because you keep talking about how tired you are. And so I went to this doctor, and when I came back, he said, I want you to look at these numbers. And I'm like, what is that? And he said, well, you're headed towards Addison's disease. And I'm like, what? What is that? And he said, oh, adrenal failure. And he said, you need to quit your job. The reason I'm saying this to you ladies is because I was working in a job that I loved. However, my whole modus operandi was to be validated, to be seen, to be heard. So I just kept taking on more and more and more because nobody told me what you just said to the audience.
And it's real and it's true. It's real and it's true. So the other important thing about cortisol is that it is a problem because it reduces our immune system function. So I want to say that clearly. Cortisol reduces our immune system function. Our immune system is designed to protect us. That's its job. When you get a scratch or you fall down and cut yourself, then all the little blood vessels go to that area and all the things that heal us go to that area and create a scab. That's the protection. That's totally normal and totally fine. But when your immune system is constantly deluged with cortisol, it cannot function properly. And this is why, in my opinion and research, we have so many now younger African-American women getting these autoimmune diseases because their immune systems are completely out of whack from the stress that they have suffered as younger women. Trauma is real. And the stress of trauma, the stress of sexual trauma, the stress of again, racism and sexism, the stress of foods, which we haven't even gotten to that. But all of these things are stressful. So when you add the addition to increased cortisol, you have a problem with your immune function. Now, understand, most of our immune cells are in the GI tract. The GI tract is not just your stomach, it's from your mouth to your anus. So most of the cells are in that tract. And when that tract and those cells are not operating optimally, our immune system is off and disturbed. That's why we're saying, as naturopaths, we've always known this, that our immune function is housed in the gut. That's just a short way of saying GI tract. So all of these problems with our GI tract now, all of the problems with, not being able to digest food properly, stress reduces the ability for the GI tract to digest and metabolize foods, because stress decreases the ability. Then that means that your parasympathetic nervous system is not doing what it needs to do because it can't under stress. What happens in stressful situations is the sympathetic nervous system comes out and produces all this fight or flight stuff. But the parasympathetic nervous system is responsible for relaxation, metabolism, digestion, sleep, all of those things that are, quote, non-essential, but are essential. So that system really takes over. And then we have things like trouble sleeping, headaches, dizziness, nausea, vomiting. All of those things are a result of cortisol not being able to be released. So, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
So go on.
So where does inflammation come into this?
So inflammation, when you're stressed, inflammation comes from certain things called cytokines. And cytokines are inflammatory substances that create the problem. So whenever you are stressed, those hormones, adrenaline and cortisol, produce the cytokines that disturb us and create different problems called inflammation. And every disease is a result of inflammation. I don't care what it is. Every disease is a result of inflammation. So be mindful of whether the stress is from your social emotional state or from the foods that you eat. But all of that contributes to something called cytokines, which are substances that produce inflammation. So be aware of that and do things to protect yourself, like exercise, like meditate, like talk sweet words to yourself. I don't say these things just because, they're cute to say. There are reasons why I'm asking all women to exercise and to meditate and to take care of themselves. Because if you don't, you will perish prematurely. That's a given. And now, with the way the state of the country is, we have stress every day. We are, normalizing racism. We're normalizing hatred. We're glorifying it. We're saying these people are wonderful people. No, they're not wonderful people. No, they're not wonderful. I'm going to say it again. They're not wonderful people. But it does mean that we have more work to do to protect ourselves and our consciousness. It does mean that we have to put out more joy and touch each person we meet with that joy so that we can create a different environment. That's what that means.
Wow. Well, that's beautiful. Okay, ladies, I hope you were taking notes. And if not, please rewind. But I want to talk about survival, because what I'm noticing is that people are in such states of survival that they don't think that they have time or resources to do what you're saying. But I want to talk about the mythology of that.
So everybody has 10 minutes, but it's up to you to take it. It's up to you to take it. Nobody's going to give it to you. You didn't come into this world feeling like you were nothing. You didn't come into this world with no self-esteem. You didn't come into this world with all the things that we have created or that the society has created for us. No, we came into the world pure. So we have to take the time to revisit who we really are, children of God. I'm just going to say that real clearly. Whatever God you pray to, doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Whatever God you pray to, you are a child of the universe. You're a child of the spirit. So recognize that and use that to catapult you into an awareness that I deserve health. I deserve health. I deserve health. I deserve to be taken care of. I deserve to treat myself well. So you have to take the time to exercise. And no, I think I said this last time, it doesn't have to be an hour. You don't have to do an hour. If you do 10 minutes, just do something. If you do 10 minutes, if you buy, I did say this, if you buy 1 bushel of kale that's organic and you can't buy anything else organic, buy the things that don't have a peel, buy the things that don't have a rind. Make conscious choices. Every day, every moment is a choice of how you think, how you feel, what you say, what you do. Make conscious choices. So that's the survival I want to encourage people.
Well, this is so important. I grew up on welfare, and my mother consistently, in fact, my whole family talked about they had to just do what was necessary in the moment to get by. But then, obesity and diabetes and all of that stuff. So, ladies, what I want to say to you is everybody's got 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how old you are, but I'm in my 70s, and it's like, it is a non-negotiable. I have to work out 3 to 4 times a week. I have to eat organic foods. I have to do my spiritual practice. And so for you, can you tell us, what do you do for you? Because I know you support a lot of other people, but what do you do for you?
I do just what you said. Those are my pillars of health. I meditate, I exercise, I eat well. Those are my pillars of health. I also think good thoughts. I also know that the universe is here to support me. I also know that I am a child of God and God is going to take care of me, whatever God that is for me. I know that spirit loves me. I know that everything is perfect, especially when I don't like it. I know that, especially when I don't like it. I say all these things in my book. I take time for myself and I take time for others, obviously, and I say no. There are things that I'm not willing to do. There are people with whom I'm not willing to be close anymore because they have different paths that I have. So I don't choose to spend my time with people who are not doing what I choose to be doing. Like if you want to be a teacher, don't hang out with people who didn't go to high school. Don't do that. Hang out with people who are doing what you want to be doing and where you want to be headed. I've had several relationships that I don't have anymore because of that. I love them. God bless them. There's no hard feelings, but I had to do something differently and steer my life in a direction that I knew would work for me and for the calling that I have called naturopathic medicine. So that's what I do. I do all those things you do because we have to have pillars, different pillars for our health. And financial pillars are one of them too. So if there are things, I just talked to someone this morning who said, I was surprised that she doesn't work for the group that she used to work for. She said, I wasn't getting paid, so I had to quit. And she quit immediately on the spot, end of story, because she wasn't getting paid. So there's no integrity in that. There's no integrity for you. It doesn't feed your self-worth or self-image or how the universe supports you. And you will find something else. But use yourself to do that.
Yeah, well, what I love about what you're saying is that there's a myth that we really are superwomen and we have to give ourselves away and we don't deserve to be supported on whatever level that is. So, for those that didn't listen to the first podcast, tell us a little bit about the sacrifices of superwomen, because I think it's an important topic.
Well, one of the things I shared in the first podcast was how we got here, first of all, with the ways in which women were treated in earlier centuries with no rights whatsoever except to be working in the house with their husbands and having no rights to even go to school. Medical school, law school was completely out. We couldn't vote, of course, until 1920, and now they're trying to take that away. So we know that, those things are what created part of this sexism that we're seeing now, just the complete disregard for women. And then racism, obviously, stemmed from those who were enslaved. And we had titles. We had Jezebel, we had Aunt Jemima, we had all these different titles that were supposed to describe us in my generation. And so Superwoman came out of the need to counter that. So in sociology, the term is Superwoman. Another term was weathering. Weathering is just all of the responsibilities and all of the issues and all of the things that we have to do that then create the erosion of who we are. our physical bodies, our mental, emotional bodies, our spiritual bodies. That weathering is an important concept in sociology as well. And I think, and I said this, what struck me and what caused me to write the book is that we die more from cancer, but we don't get it more than Caucasian women or Hispanic women. So there's something that we're doing or not doing that's creating that. And I know from my patients, I have patient stories in my books of how everybody else is more important than me. Everything I do is for other people. I'm a people pleaser. I do this, I do that. No, that's got to stop because we are killing ourselves in the process with very little, if any, support. So many of us do that consistently, and we just don't know how to say no, but it's not something that you're taught. You have to just say it. And if you need to go in the mirror and practice no, 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 then go in the mirror and practice the word no. I'm very serious because we are so busy taking care of everybody else but ourselves. And then, of course, there's racism within the medical system. We know that. Doctors don't listen. The beauty of naturopathy and the value of naturopathy is that we listen. So I hear the stress of the patient. I hear the stress of the sexual abuse. I hear the stress of the father who beat the mother. I hear all of that. And I hear what the patient has as a result of those abuses. And that's important. But allopathic doctors don't listen. They'll ask you, what's your condition? Okay, take this. Bye. You know, I had someone send me a little note. An allopath that doesn't ask you about your diet is just a drug pusher. And I'm not dissing all allopaths because many of them are totally fine. But I do know that if they don't ask you about your diet or if they tell you that you're not supposed to have a bowel movement every day, don't go back to them. Don't go back to them.
Right.
Because if you eat every day, you're supposed to move your bowels every day.
Amen.
That's another way that we get inflamed. And that's another way that our GI tract gets inflamed and stays inflamed. And then we have inflammation that passes throughout the body. So,
okay, how do people find you? I mean, okay, ladies, what I want to say is she's only one person, so just know that you can bombard her, but it may take her a moment to get to you. How do we find you?
So my email is drandreasullivan.com. That's DRANDREASULLIVAN.com. My phone number is 202-244-4545. And I have a TikTok and I have an Instagram and I have all kinds of things that I post information on from the book and from my experiences. But I would just say, buy the book, ladies. Buy the book. Buy the book. I'm looking for it right now. Hold on. Buy the book. Buy the book. Buy the book. Buy the book. Because even if you can't afford a naturopath, you will get an immeasurable amount of information from this book that you can use every day, which is one of the reasons I wrote it. So that you don't necessarily, if you can't afford it, buy the book and read, or go to the library and read and feel better. Love yourself. As I said last time, self-love is self-care. And that's the only way healing is going to happen is through self-love. God bless us all.
Amen. Well, Andrea, you're just such a wealth of knowledge. And I know I asked you this last time, but I want to ask you, why is it important for women to awaken and be healthy right now?
Because we have families to raise, whether it's our nephews, our nieces, our own children, because we have to stand up for all of the negativity and atrocities that are happening in this country. And most importantly, because it's a symbol of loving yourself. Loving yourself means that you're caring for yourself. Even if you never choose to march, if you never choose to write a congressman, you got to love yourself in order to create the joy and the life that you want and to pass that joy on to other people. If your piece of the puzzle isn't plugged in, someone else's piece of the puzzle can't work because you are the light that they see. So be the light. Look for the light in others and be the light for yourself.
Okay, ladies, I hope you heard that. Dr. Andrea, thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you came back because I just feel like this information that we've given today just creates a whole package of information. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much and for all that you do for all of us. God bless you.
Thank you. Okay, ladies. On the last show, Dr. Andrea said healing requires self-love. And she just said it in another way. If you don't love you, how do you show up fully for other people? So I'm saying in this moment, dare to love you, dare to care for you, dare to have the pillars of health that can support you in thriving, therefore supporting the people that you love and others that you serve. I'm so grateful to be with you. I'm so grateful to do this show and to have incredible guests like this. I love you, and I'll see you on the next show.